hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today, Alex and I are going on a bit of an adventure because we are doing a blind date with a webcomic.
I'm so excited. This is my favorite thing to do, and I just can't wait to pick a story at random.
I know. We're suckers, actually.
It's true.
What it ultimately comes down to, I mean, literally our local bookseller, we told them we wanted blind date with books. And they said, if I just tell you a description of a book and it sounds good, are you buying it? And we said, yes.
And we did.
And we did. We literally made that true. So today, what better way to pair each other with a webcomic than to recommend each other webcomics that each other hasn't read yet and sell them to them with vague descriptions?
Yes.
So I'm going to have Alex pick her blind date with a webcomic first.
Okay.
I'm going to read off 6 descriptions of 6 different stories, give you a little bit of background info about each, and then you can choose what your perfect webcomic is for today.
Okay.
Okay. So we are starting out with blind date number 1. This is an romance with tags comedy and sports. The spice level is 5 out of 5. And the description is, after an athlete saves a man's life, he can't help but fall absolutely head over heels in love with him at first sight. But while the man is grateful, he refuses the athlete's advances after swearing to only pursue no-strings-attached relationships. So, the battle of resolve is on. Will the man stick to his casual ways, or will the athlete be able to fight his way into his heart?
Ooh.
This is an ongoing series.
Okay.
All right. So, that is blind date number 1. Blind date number 2. This is an romance. The tags are drama and rivals to lovers. The spice level is 3.5 out of 5. And the description is, a college student going through a serious breakup with his high school sweetheart is finding out that she was pining for another man. And to make matters worse, this man is another student that he can't seem to stop running into. But once he has no choice but to look for a new place to live, he finds himself rooming with the man, and the two work to break the bad blood and possibly grow closer in the process.
Okay.
Ongoing. Blind date number 3. This is an romance. The tags are celebrity and self-growth. The spice level is 2 out of 5. And the description is, an aspiring and failing actress is struggling to land roles and make a name for herself in the industry. But time and time again, she catches the eye of an established actor who constantly seems to be helping her through her tears. With his support and guidance, she continues to push through with renewed confidence and is determined to make her next role her best. Will it pay off? The status is completed.
Okay.
Blind date number 4. This is an romance. The tag is crime. Spice level is 4 out of 5. And the description is, a spy tasked with getting close to a suspect for a case ends up compromising his cover and ends up in a bad position, or several. While he's an incredible spy, he isn't well versed in relationships. But in order to keep up his con, he's going to need to be. And what better way to practice than on the job? Status completed.
Okay.
Blind date number 5. This is a female-male romance. Tags are drama and mystery. Spice level is 3 out of 5. And description is, after her husband goes missing, a woman sets out on a number of dangerous paths, willing to do anything to get him back again, not realizing just how close he may be the entire time. Status ongoing.
Okay.
And our last blind date is an romance. Tags are guide verse and memory loss. Spice level, 5 out of 5. In a world where espers use their powers to keep peace in the world, there's one that is the most powerful. However, with that power comes significant instability. And when the esper's powers becomes a threat to the safety of the people and world around them, they bring in a guide with an interesting proposition. Redeem yourself and find a way for the esper to find peace and start anew. Status, end of season.
Okay. Whew, those sound good. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you gave me more to work with than I had planned on giving you, so the descriptions are going to be shorter for you.
Totally fine.
Just a heads up. I think I'm going to go with blind date number 5.
Okay.
Because I just recently read a mystery, and I'm feeling in a mystery mood. So what is it?
All right. So blind date number 5 is, drum roll, Her Merry Obsession on Manta.
Gosh.
This story is ongoing with over 50 episodes. I have talked to you about this several times.
Yes.
And I am beaming with joy that I get to talk to you about this one now.
Oh, I'm so excited. This one has been on my radar, so this is going to be a good one. A nice little push for me to read this story.
I will say, if you are curious what the other blind dates were about, if maybe a different description did resonate with you, we will be highlighting all of these blind dates on our social media. So make sure to take a look and get your perfect match with a blind date as well.
All right. Now, it's your turn. Okay, starting off, we have blind date number 1. This is an workplace comedy. It's a completed series. And this story is an opposites attract workplace where MC1 and MC2 have to compete to see who comes out on top. This is not a spicy story, so it is a 0 spice.
Okay.
Blind date number 2. This is an revenge supernatural story. It's ongoing. We have 2 undercover MCs who are both trying to blend in with the crowd. MC1 chases MC2, and MC2 is trying to run away. No spice.
Okay.
Blind date number 3. This is an MF drama supernatural story where we have a lovable town guy who falls for the town outcast. And it is a very sweet story that deals with mental health issues.
Okay.
There is also no spice on this.
Okay.
And it's ongoing.
Okay.
Okay, next one. We have an FF story. This is a supernatural reincarnation story where our MCs must discover their past with each other while trying to save themselves and uncover secrets around them.
Okay.
This is no spice, ongoing, and this is a long one.
Okay.
Number 5. This is an workplace series. It's a completed series. This is the only one with spice. It's a medium spice, so still not super spicy, but a little.
Okay.
We have a boss employee where they have a workplace relationship that has a very awkward meeting and lots of growth for the characters.
Okay. Love growth.
And lastly, we have our blind date number 6. This is an MF supernatural revenge story. We have a very gentle guy who gets help from a confident, capable, badass woman. And it is a friends to lovers mystery story with no spice.
Oh my gosh, this is hard. Well, one, I'm learning one thing, which is you think I read too many spicy things.
No, it's just that the stories that I have read that you haven't are not spicy.
I was like, message heard loud and clear.
All the ones that I read that are spicy, you're also reading.
There is also one that I feel like I know what it is, so it feels like cheating.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, maybe I don't do that one. So, I'm really stuck, genuinely. I kind of want another comedy. So I'm kind of leaning towards blind date number 1.
Okay.
I think that's my final answer.
All right. This is My Sweet Dear, which is on Manta. This is a shorter story. It's, I think, about 30 episodes, and it's 2 rival chefs.
Okay.
It's super, super cute. I think you're going to love this one.
Yay! I'm excited.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun.
Okay, so we will be back in a flash to talk to you about our blind dates.
See you soon. And we're back.
We're back.
We have speed read these stories faster than possible.
The speed of light. There were so many things you could have said faster than possible. I'm excited. I love this as a premise in general. We already know that we're a sucker for a blind date story.
Yeah.
So it was nice to get, a matchmaker kind of story for Amanwa for once. So I'm going to start out by talking about My Sweet Dear. This story is on Manta Comics. It's completed with 28 episodes, and it is a BL workplace story.
I do have to say, before you get into it, that I have to amend my 0 spice rating from earlier. Because I was wrong. I, in my defense, didn't remember and knew that it was from the platform before there was spicy content on Manta. So I was just assuming that it was 0 spice. But it's probably a 2, more accurately.
Yeah, I would say so. There's definitely some heavy petting that is insinuated and shown at certain points.
Yeah.
And there's also an age-restricted episode that does insinuate quite a bit.
That definitely was not there before. I swear.
I will take your word for it. But yeah, I would definitely amend the spice rating on this one from a 0 to a 2.
Yeah.
It's more fade to black moments,
Yeah.
for sure, because it is rated 16 and up, but it's not a 0.
No.
So if you were going into it hoping for no spice, too bad.
My apologies.
This story was super cute. It follows Do-gun Yoon. He is a professional chef. He works at Lara Restaurant, and he's kind of hit a wall, I guess is like the nicest way to say it. He has a lot of critics out there who see him as a pretty face, and they're like, his food falls short. And he's just having a rough go. He's like, man, it just feels like, I'm doing everything consistently. I'm keeping up with, my menu and everything else. And people just want stuff to be different. And I like keeping things the same and consistent. So he's really struggling with identity of like, what do I want this to look like? He can't leave Lara Restaurant because when you make a menu with them, you leave everything behind as well. And so he's just like, where do I go from here? Like, what is forward movement for me? He's also getting pressure from Lara, the woman who owns the restaurant, being like, you need to figure out something. You need to change the menu. We need to figure something out. And again, he's really reluctant to do any of this. But in comes a rival chef. And he's like, I do all this stuff really different. And Do-gun does not like this at all. He's like, get out of my kitchen. I have way too many people to run here. And Jung-woo Choi, the new chef, he's like, what do you mean? I'm here. And I ate at your restaurant, tried your chef special, and I can recreate any dish based off of taste alone. And he does a pretty good job of recreating the specialty dish that only Do-gun is allowed to prepare at the restaurant, which only further pisses Do-gun off. Mm-hmm. So Jung-woo Choi has now officially become enemy number 1. And Lara decides this is a perfect time to announce that she wants Do-gun and Jung-woo to go head-to-head in a competition for creating a new menu. And whoever wins gets to become head chef of the restaurant. So Do-gun's like, you know what? Yeah, fine. I'll do that because I'm already the head chef and I know I can get out of this slump and I'll figure it out. And Jung-woo also has some newbie confidence that he's coming with. He's like, I studied in Spain. I have my own skills. This is perfectly fine. Well, the team is trying to embrace Jung-woo being there. And they try to get everybody to go out and hang out together, do like a team dinner. And Do-gun is like, no. He's already decided in his head. He's got like a billion scenarios he could go through. He's like, I'm not going to dinner with them. I'm going to say, that sounds nice, but I'm super busy. And everyone calls him out on it before he even says it out loud. And so Do-gun's like, no, but like I actually am really busy. And so I can't make it. And in doing so, he ends up burning his staff member in like trying to retreat. And he goes, oh my gosh, I'll take you to the hospital. And the staff member goes, do you know what I really want? And then you see Do-gun and he's at the restaurant for the team dinner. They guilted him into going. So Do-gun tries to give them the slip early on. They call him out on that too. And really, it just further speaks to how much Do-gun just like follows a script in life in general. Like people can see from a mile away what he's going to do because he's already done it hundreds of times. And so if for nothing else, the man is consistent.
Yeah.
But Jung-woo Choi ends up pissing him off at this team dinner, and Do-gun challenges him to a drinking contest that he very quickly loses. Now, Do-gun does not like people touching him. He likes his personal space, but for some reason, when he gets extremely drunk, and just in general, when Jung-woo touches him, He's not immediately repulsed. He doesn't smack or swat him away right away. And he's like, I hate this guy, but I don't know why I don't hate him being close to me. That makes no sense. So Jung-woo ends up winning the drinking thing, also basically carries him back home. And after asking Dogun multiple times where he lives, and Dogun goes, that's private information that you're not allowed to be privy to, he ends up spending the night at Jung-woo's house. And they both come on to each other, have like a little makeout session, and then end up in the bed. And Dogun wakes up and is like, I'm going to slip out and act like nothing ever happened because that's embarrassing. And comes out to Jung-woo being like, oh, good morning, princess, and making him breakfast. So he's now embarrassed. But throughout all of this, Jung-woo is starting to have suspicions that he knows Dogun from before they've met and before Dogun got famous. And it turns out that they grew up in the same town when they were kids. And when Dogun was having it really hard, his dad was a drunk, used to beat him, and he used to just have to be out of the house, basically, to not incur his father's wrath. He would be on the streets, and this boy brought him food once and sat down and let him eat the food. And so Jung-woo was like, this is the pivotal moment that made me want to become a chef. And he starts to realize that Dogun was the boy who gave him the food. So he's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy that we've reunited. So even though Dogun is still like, I hate you, but I guess if you're touching me for some reason, I don't hate it, and you can stay at a comfortable distance from me. But Jung-woo is head over heels at this point. He's like, oh my gosh, you're the reason I am who I am today. And you're a part of my past, and I want you as a part of my future. So things take a turn when you find out that Jung-woo is only at this restaurant because Laura, the owner of the restaurant, paid off his debts for him from his father in exchange for trying to get Jung-woo to get Dogun to give him his specialty recipe. And so in doing this, he's looped into, he now has to betray Dogun at some point. Mm-hmm. But Jung-woo is really trying to figure out a way out of this without having to 10 times pay back the debt, which is what he signed on to in the contract. Also, terrible contract. Don't know why he ever signed that. Paying back your debt 10 times. I know he was confident he would get the recipe, but that's outrageous. So Jung-woo does basically try to keep his dark past from getting exposed, but they end up not only going to source ingredients together in their hometown and running into somebody who calls out who his family was, and Jung-woo being like, nope, not me, never heard of that Choi family, even though we share the same last name. But then one of the gangsters comes to the restaurant and is heckling them. So unfortunately, no matter how much he tried to keep it hidden, Jung-woo's past is following him and eventually gets revealed. And Dogun stands up for him immediately. And it's not even the first time he's done so. But Dogun is like, what do you mean you're going to reveal his past? Who cares? We're all grown adults. And if he had a hard past and a bad dad, wouldn't that just mean that the person he is now is even more respectable because of what he's been through? And Jung-woo's like, oh my gosh, that's so nice of you to say. I love you so much. But Dogun doesn't realize the extent of it until he overhears Lara and Jung-woo talking. And Jung-woo's like, you've already decided who won this contest for the recipes. And you're going to put me as a head of the restaurant. And he's basically revealing the whole plan in the conversation of you just wanted me to steal this recipe. And so Dogun tells off the owner, and he's like, I'm going to win this competition. Just leave me the fuck alone. Mm-hmm. And he also leaves Jung-woo there as well. So the competition comes up. They prepare their food. And instead of making what he feels is the best recipe ever, Dogun prepares the recipe that he made for Jung-woo when they were kids And everyone's like, I mean, like, this is okay. And, like, sure, it, like, ties in some nostalgic, you know, flavors, but, like, it's not anything to write home about. And he's like, and with that, I resign from my position. And so he goes to leave, and you very much realize that he's done this just to attack Jung-woo at this point and, like, hit him where it hurts. And he's like, yeah, I basically prepared this because food is memory, just as Jung-woo has wonderfully put it before. And so he's just doing it to make Jung-woo remember who he screwed over. So Jung-woo ends up giving him the entire contract that he signed with Lara and, like, giving him basically all of the information out there that he can use against Lara for trying to trap him with the recipe. And instead, Dogun decides to use it to be like, I'm still leaving your restaurant. I could sue you at any point. Here's the recipe. I'm gone. And in the end, you see that Jung-woo and Dogun end up making up, and they get to follow Dogun's dream, which was to have a cute little beachside restaurant that he owns and operates himself. It's a really cute story.
I loved this one. Yeah, it's such a good story. I remember reading this one, and it ended, like, pretty quickly from when it started. But it's just, like, a cute little bite-sized story, and I loved it. They're so cute. I love how they end up supporting each other in the end. It's just, like, precious.
It's so precious. I will say it did feel really quick. I felt like it could have been a little bit longer, but I love rival workplace. It's such a good trope.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I love the cooking ones as well. So this was really nice.
Yeah.
This is like a nice little story. I got to, like, cozy up and read. And there were definitely moments where I was like, thank goodness Dogun is just this strong character. Because sometimes you see those characters bend immediately and they're like, why'd you do this? I forgive you right away. And I liked that he definitely got his digs in there.
Yeah.
And the entire time, he was just a good, consistent person. So, like, he sat there and stood up for what he believed in the entire time, and he put a foot down when he needed to. It was just really nice and refreshing because I feel like it squashed some of the recurring themes that I don't like to see in some characters. So, yeah, I loved it.
Good.
Yay!
I read Her Merry Obsession. This is on Manta. It's 51 episodes. It's ongoing. And this is a crazy story.
Yep.
So we start off, we have our main character. Her name is So-ryung Han, and she is a blind woman just living an average life in an apartment building. She has a husband. His name is Haeyeon, and Haeyeon goes to work every day. And one day, he doesn't come home from work. And So-ryung is like, what's going on? This is so weird. And so eventually she decides to go to the police. And when she goes to the police, they're like, okay, we're not taking you seriously for this investigation. Like, you have to wait, you know, a certain amount of time before we take a missing person seriously, especially when they're an adult.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, well, she came in holding a knife covered in blood. And they're like, if it's your husband's blood on you, then we'll take it more seriously. So she says that it is, and it's not. It's her own from when she was chopping vegetables and cut herself. And so they do investigate, like, very briefly and find out that her husband does not exist. When they go back to her apartment place, no one lives there except for her. She's the only person at this apartment complex. And so you slowly find out that her entire life with this man has been a lie. Mm-hmm. And she also is not really blind. He has been blinding her with these eye drops. So she starts to regain her vision. And she's trying to figure out where her husband is. She's still trying to find this man who she has very complicated feelings about now because she misses him, but she also is like, I hate you for what you've done. And so she decides to defect to North Korea and in order to get the attention of the NIS and try and find out where her husband is because she knows that he worked for them. This doesn't work. They just kind of sweep it under the rug, and so she's like, all right, I got to try harder. So she joins this like mercenary company, and this company is called Blast, and she first starts off as a cook, and she's like, all right, I'm going to go here and I'm going to abduct someone very high up at the NIS, and then they won't be able to ignore me. And so she's working as a cook. She's trying to like figure out how to go about doing this. She got a job there from her friend Chana, who is a hacker and is like very good at her job. So then our other main character, his name is Woo-Shin Lee, and he was the guy who was playing her husband with a fake face and a fake voice and everything. And he has tried to leave the agency because he doesn't want to do this job anymore. And the agency is basically like, you can't. You have to do this one last job. The one last job is also at Blast. So now they're coming across each other again. And So-ryung doesn't know that it's her husband because he faked everything and she was blind, and also it wouldn't even matter if she wasn't blind because he had a fake face and a fake voice, fake smell, like nothing about him is the same except for one thing. And that one thing is that he had a curved dick.
The dick was 100% authentic.
So she's trying to figure out who her husband is, but also she's trying to figure out how to like get the attention of the NIS. And so she ends up saving Chana from being attacked and assassinated. And the CEO of this Blast company is like, she is a valuable asset. I am really thankful for what you did, so I'll grant you one wish. And she's like, okay, I want you to kidnap this like high up guy at the NIS. And he's like, I can't do that.
That's strong.
And she wouldn't even give him a reason. She's like, well, I just kind of wanted to cause some chaos, and like, do I really need a reason to kidnap someone?
I just helped you.
So what he does offer her is kind of a chance to make herself stronger so she can kidnap her own people. So she ends up going to a 10-week training camp. The leader of this training camp is Woo-Shin Lee, and he is not happy that she is there.
Nope.
Tries to get her thrown out at every available turn. Is trying to both make her stronger and also get her to drop the finding your husband thing. And she's kind of like, why are you trying to get me to stop looking for my husband? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. You must have really bad luck in love, my guy.
Yeah, so she's like, do you have an ex-wife that you would like to talk about? And he's like, yeah, actually, she kind of sucks. So he starts ranting about her to her.
Yeah.
And so she ends up making it through this camp. And when she leaves the training camp, he's like, congratulations, you've made it. There were a ton of trials that she had to do. She had to be submerged in freezing water. She had to survive torture. She had to kidnap him. That was her final thing that she had to do. And she succeeded. She's like the only one who succeeded. So he's like begrudgingly like, all right, fine, you can join my team. I hate you. I love you. And she goes back and she's kind of just like waiting things out now. And she is getting back together with Chana. Chana's like, thank you so much for saving my life. What can I do for you? And she's like, all right, steal $4 million from this vice president's son. And Chana's like, I got you. Mm-hmm. And so they steal this money. This has been in the news already that this money was already stolen. Now it's being stolen again. And Chana's like, all right, what name do you want me to put? Because she usually puts one specific name that is like her mark as I've done this. And So-ryung is like, put Hyun as the name. Just go ahead and like make him the person. And so the NIS knows who did this. It comes back to being from her IP address. It's the name of her supposed dead husband. And so they go and attack her. And she's like very strong now. So she ends up killing both of the people who came to attack her and gets on the phone with the NIS, like one of the high ups there, and they try and trick her. It kind of works. She's like, something sounds weird, but like, this is my husband, because she basically says, I need to talk to him. And so they put on this fake voice that he was using and say, oh, you know, I love you and I'm sorry that I left, and like once everything's over, everything's gonna be fine. And Wushin finds out that this is happening and goes back to the house and like destroys the phone and is like, what the fuck are you doing? And is kind of on her case about it. He's telling her like, okay, I will help you find your husband now because you're gonna do it anyways. You're fucking crazy. And, like, I guess I'm going to help you with this now. And I'm moving in, just so you know. And she eventually agrees. And then he goes back to the NIS and is like, I'm living with her and I'm screwing her over because she needs to believe that this man died. And who better to stay close to her and watch her than me? And the parting words from his boss at the NIS is like, all right, don't sleep with her because we didn't give you a prosthetic dick, so she's gonna know. And famous last words, because he's definitely going to.
Definitely going to. And I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. I love her. She's
amazing.
Such a badass.
The way that they painted her, so like it's really interesting because the story starts out in the prologue showing her like in therapy as a child.
Yeah.
And she's never been like all right in the head.
Yeah.
So literally,
and the way that Wushin is like, does your husband know that you're like this? And she's like, nope, and he will never find out.
And Wushin's like, sure.
Yeah. So I love them together. Wushin, such a good bad character.
Such a good bad character. And here's the thing too, is like throughout, like as the story progresses more, Wushin is jealous.
Of himself.
And of one of his comrades.
Yeah.
Because they made the image of him. So like there's a little subplot going on during training.
Yeah.
Where Soryung is like trying to figure out, she's like looking at all of the people around and like sniffing around them.
Because one of them is like who they modeled him after. So like his temperament, his smell, his height, his build, all of it is reminding her of her husband. So she's like, could it possibly be him?
Yeah. And so this trainer is just like nice to her. Like she's the only girl going through this training program. And she the entire time is like sniffing around him to see if it's him and like listening. She's like, the voice is a little different, you know? And Wushin is like, it's not him. That's not your husband.
Oh my gosh. He beats the absolute crap out of him because he's pissed.
And so just the built up jealousy. I mean, yeah, you know they're going to sleep together eventually. She's going to find out that Wushin's the husband.
She already suspects.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
But it's so good the way they've built this up. I know, like, what most people would consider to be a slow burn, because at this point it's 51 episodes in.
Yeah.
Nothing's really happened.
No.
But it is so good, gripping on the edge of your seat. Very good, like, this is the person you're looking for right in front of you, and you wouldn't know.
At all. Yeah.
Because you don't.
And I love that they're kind of keeping him as, like, a mystery, too. Like, is he on her side? Is he on the NIS's side? And I think he's on his own side, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. I love it. I'm so glad you're caught up on this one with me now.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah.
It's perfect. Yay.
It is so good. I'll never recover.
I'm so glad. I think this was a successful blind date.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that down the road, we don't even have to wait for Valentine's Day. Obviously, we'll have to do this on Valentine's Day moving forward.
Yes.
But I think that we could just do some blind date matchmaking for ourselves later
Some
on.
casual dating, if you will.
You know, some casual. You know, get on the apps. Just kidding.
We should make an app, me and you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not doing that. That would be a lot. But I do think this was super successful. I'm really glad that we did it. And if you haven't read these stories, they're both phenomenal.
Read the stories.
Read all the stories. Well, thank you all so much for joining us, and we're looking forward to talking to you all on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.